Hey everybody, what's up? NGS back again for another direct recording from the handy dandy Logitech C920 webcam. And yes, the pop filter is still in the frame. Why? Because we're doing back-to-back recordings. So, in the last video, I talked about Netflix and Nintendo making a partnership to develop a Legend of Zelda television series. Today, I want to talk about Nintendo again. But in this one in particular, I want to speak on their whole content creation policy on YouTube. Now, for a couple of, basically since YouTube's inception 10 years ago, it's been 10 years since YouTube came to existence. Since YouTube came on, there's been this whole copyright conundrum. You know, what is free speech? What is, usage? You get into a lot of legal jargon and whether or not you can use certain copyrighted material in a video. Is it protected under this law? And from different people, you're going to get different stances on it. You're going to get different, basically what is right and what isn't right. A lot of people are in favor for, copyrighted content being used on the internet, provided that it falls under certain categories and guidelines, whereas other people are all just for strict content removal of any fashion in any way, shape, or form. And, I've had my stances with copyrights in the past. I've had a couple of channels taken down over BS copyright claims. And, it's kind of lessened in the past couple of years since we've had, networks, the rise of networks. It's no longer just YouTube. You have a bunch of services like, TGN, Curse, Full Screen, a bunch of people out there who, fight for your rights against any copyright related things, provided it falls under, like I said, a certain list of guidelines. But there's still a conundrum going on. And there was a big debacle, a year ago, or was it 2 years ago? I can't even tell right now, with the whole YouTube copyright stuff. And out of nowhere, Nintendo basically announced that they're creating their own network when it comes to content creation and monetization, because while copyright in and of itself wasn't the major problem, the biggest issue that has happened in the past couple of years is the use of monetization on copyrighted related materials. Because a lot of people believe that since they're doing commentaries or let's plays or they're doing reviews that use gameplay footage, that provided that it's different in the original way, it still should be a-okay, and they should monetize it since it is the majority of their content. And video game publishers and companies have been really, honestly, there's never been a clear stance on this whole situation. A lot of companies believe that, copyrighted material being used on the internet is very wrong and very bad, and I just tap my pop filter. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have some developers coming out there who are saying, you kidding me? That's awesome because that's free. Again, somebody is texting me in this video. I gotta learn to silence my phone, because that is free advertising, free promotion. Because if you have someone out there who has a large fan base playing a particular game, that could potentially garner more sales for the particular developer. Likewise, it could have an adverse effect and keep people away from it. So everything with this copyright conundrum stuff it's basically in the moral gray area. It's like sometimes it's illegal, sometimes it's not, and no developer or publisher really, like the entire industry does not have a certain stance on it. But Nintendo really shocked everybody by coming out there and creating their own network. And it started when they placed copyright IDs on videos, and they started taking videos down that had any of their games on them. And then it evolved into, well, we'll let you have the game up there, but we claim full 100% monetization for it. And that created a lot of controversy. A lot of people were not happy at the fact that, their games, their videos, the stuff that they produce for hours upon hours is going to be claimed by Nintendo because they used 5 seconds of Mario footage, 10 seconds, 1 minute, an entire playthrough of a game. And again, you get into a moral gray area when it comes to all that stuff. Personally, I think it should be done on a case-by-case basis because, let's plays and stuff, I can definitely see why people say that, it's not really too much of effort in there, since all you're really doing is doing a commentary or putting your camera in the corner. It's very different from a review or something like that. It's very different from, skits and parodies and stuff like that. So I can understand and I can see things. But again, different strokes from different folks. That is not the right phrase to be using, but you catch my drift or my wind or the gist. It's the gist. It's the gist. But this whole Nintendo network thing, in the beginning, I was okay with some of the things that they were doing, because I felt that, it's their content. They have the right to, advertise it, so long as, they keep the videos up on YouTube and don't do anything crazy for whatever reason. But what they did recently is just, I can't get by it whatsoever. And this whole network thing, basically they're not allowing you to, first and foremost, there are two ways for you to monetize your Nintendo related uploads. The first way is a video by video basis. So if you have any video games featuring Nintendo likenesses, they can review that video and they can approve it, and you get a certain cut from the percentage of the video. Whereas they have the second one, where you can become an official Nintendo Network partner, and there you get a higher percentage of the cut. But the reason why I bring so much of an issue to this is that they're only letting you use certain games on this whitelist, as they say. The approved Nintendo games that you're going to be able to upload and monetize. If you don't upload any games on that list, then you cannot become a Nintendo Network partner. So basically, what this is forcing you to do is, this is forcing you to become a Nintendo only channel. And it's not just a Nintendo only channel. If you post any footage from third party developers and publishers, regardless of what platform they're on, then they're not going to approve you. So you have to talk about Mario, you have to talk about Zelda, you have to talk about Nintendo Land, you have to talk about the Wonderful 101, you have to talk about just every game on there. You got to talk about Cranky Kong too. God forbid they say, well, if it's too negative, we're not approving you, because Lord knows there ain't too many positive things to say about Nintendo these days. But it's just really, it's mind-boggling, it's depressing. And of course, from the business side of things, you're going to say, well, this is the only way that they're not going to get in trouble, because, different copyright laws and different licensing, and, how are they going to pay you money for footage of Activision's Call of Duty and all this weird stuff, which I guess from a business side of things. But seriously, it's just ridiculous that they're going to this extent, and it's just, it takes the fun out of everything, especially for people who like to do content. And that's something that really needs to be addressed, is that Nintendo content is really not some of the most popular content out there. Sure, there's a rise in popularity, there's a spike whenever a new Nintendo game comes out, such as, whenever a Mario game comes out or whatever, or the next Zelda or something like that. But for all the other stuff, like the B list and the C list stuff, no one's really gonna be doing too many playthroughs of that, unless it's like some ridiculously fun Nintendo game. It's just like a fly-by-night, like, oh my god, that was hilarious for a playthrough. But other than that, no one's really interested in that. No one's really interested in doing a playthrough of Bayonetta 2. No one's really interested in doing, a playthrough of, the game's probably going to be good, but how many people are honestly going to do a playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles X on YouTube? Especially with how long it is. Not too many people, especially to the degree where it's going to become like an insane hit, So it's depressing, it doesn't give people any variety. It doesn't give you freedom. You only have to do Nintendo stuff. And what I see this doing is, this is going to prompt people to go out there and create second channels just to do Nintendo stuff. God forbid, if you want to play multi-platform stuff, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, smartphone games, God forbid you want to do any of that and you're on the Nintendo network. So that's where I draw the line with Nintendo on this stuff. When it comes to copyright stuff, for the most part, I agree with the notion that, if you're uploading copyrighted material, like full episodes of anime, full episodes of just anything for free, and you're not giving back to the creators whatsoever, especially for niche stuff, then I agree that stuff should be pulled off from the internet. You know, if it's readily available in your country, or you can get it from another country, you know, at a decent price, then you should support it. But at the same time, I don't go for all these draconian, you know, copyright laws that basically punish anybody who wants to, you know, have fun, like do parodies and you know, just do like just video game related stuff that you can have a lot of fun with. You know, I just honestly, this whole copyright thing is really going to be a legal gray area. Honestly, for the longest time, it probably will be a legal gray area, because there's just so much you have to take into consideration here. So I really hope Nintendo changes these things and updates this whitelist, because really just a couple of games on there, and especially considering Nintendo doesn't put out too many games. Like, it's only their games on the Wii U now. It's only their games. They don't have third-party support. You know, that's going to be very dry. So basically, the only games that people are going to be advertising are the games that are coming out on the Wii U. Don't talk about niche games. Don't talk about nothing like that, like hidden gems that are there. No, these are the only games that are going to be out on the system. So if somebody's talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X, good chance everybody's getting it. If somebody's talking about the next Zelda game, good chance everyone's getting it. There's no such thing as just, you know, hidden niche games from a different publisher like you would on the Xbox 360. So many hidden gems there. PlayStation 3, so many hidden gems. Wii, so many hidden gems. But for this, it's only got to be Nintendo approved games. So for that, I do not approve of it whatsoever. But who knows what'll change in the future. I hope that Nintendo comes to their senses. But they're very strict, old-fashioned Japanese company. And that's just how it is. You know, if it makes money, if it keeps them in the green area, who cares about voice chat? Who cares about features? Apparently, the board of directors over there don't. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm GS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.